Today we're going to go over the installation of a sliding shower door. Now there are lots of different models out there. I'll put the description for our model down in the description below. But they're all very similar, and the tips that we're going to provide today will be applicable no matter which model you have. I just want to highlight the most important pieces to keep that shower door completely level, to keep it waterproof, and to make sure it's a sturdy install. When I first open up a package like this, I like to go through all of the pieces and make sure that they match the parts list. Fortunately, they organize it on this sheet of paper so I can count them all without having to unwrap it. It's a really good idea to check to make sure you have everything before you start installing things in case you end up having to return it. For this shower install, you'll need to trim both the bottom piece and the top piece. The two side pieces are already cut to the right dimensions. So with the bottom piece, with our specific model, we trim it in by about 3/8 of an inch narrower than the actual gap between the tiles. This bottom piece is a little bit shorter than the gap, and that allows you A, a little bit of room to adjust it, and B, also allows a space for this side rail to slide behind it. When measuring the top rail, we only have to add an extra 1/16 of an inch as opposed to 3/8 of an inch to our cut. And the reason for that is because while the bottom rail has this side piece that tucks behind it, the top rail just rests on top, so it's a pretty tight fit on both sides. Now, cutting metal can be a little bit tricky, especially with these non-flat shapes. So what I did is I measured it out, marked it with a Sharpie, and then I used my speed square to draw that Sharpie line all the way around it, even around that bowed side, because I'm going to be cutting this with a hacksaw. You can also use a miter saw if you have the right blade for it, or you can use an oscillating tool. But with any of those, you want to make sure that your cut is a perfect 90 degrees. You don't want it to be crooked because it will definitely be visible in the finished product. And it might be a little bit difficult to get to hold that rounded piece. So you might need to set up some sort of jig or have a partner kind of hold that metal rig in place while you're doing the cutting. And then once you're done cutting, make sure to sand off those burrs for the finished product. One of the things I like the most about this model is that that bottom threshold piece does not require any screws for the installation. I hate to have to drill a hole into my curb, especially after that curb has so many layers of waterproofing, and that hole is just going to go right through and be a possible entry point for water, especially since it's on a horizontal surface. The water is just going to pool on top of it. So fortunately, this specific model, no screws needed, no holes, is held together entirely with caulk. Now you're going to want to use 100% silicone caulk here. It's going to be covered up, so it doesn't matter if it's a white, clear, or grout matching or whatever you have, but 100% silicone caulk, and then you're going to run that bead all the way along both the front edge and the back edge. After placing that bottom threshold piece, it's a good idea to wrap some tape around it. Since it's only being held in with caulk, it might wiggle over time and you don't want it to get offset. So leave it for however long your caulk takes to cure, usually about 30 minutes. And then after that, you can go ahead and finish the installation. In my opinion, the most important thing is for this top rail to be perfectly level. That allows this door to pretty much just stop wherever it is instead of them sliding up or downhill. And the way we do that is by making sure these two side pieces are perfectly lined up, since the top rail just rests on top of them. So each of them has 3 holes. The way that we keep them perfectly lined up is by using a laser level and making sure that those holes are at the exact same height. And then I'll also use a bubble level to make sure that the side rails are perfectly level up and down. The side rails are load bearing, so they need to be installed with screws. Now I'm not as worried about water intrusion on these side pieces because that's a vertical surface and it's about 1 foot off the ground. In order to drill the hole through the ceramic tile, I like to use my 1/4 inch diamond drill bit. You can also use a carbide tip drill bit, but it may wear out a little bit faster on you. So you'll use that drill bit to get through the tile itself. And then once you're through the tile, I would just use a much smaller diameter drill bit to make a pilot hole for your screws. We made a whole video about using diamond grit drill bits if you guys want to check that out. Before you start putting the screws into the hole, make sure to fill that hole up with caulk, and that will help seal it up and prevent water intrusion. And then I like to use the drill to get it about 90% of the way screwed in, and then use a screwdriver for the last couple turns. And follow your specific instructions for where to put the bumpers along the track. Installing that top rail is relatively straightforward because it just rests on top of those 2 side rails.
If your setup is like ours, we have one rounded face and then one flat face. So that rounded side goes facing out of the shower. And then this whole piece is just held into place with two plastic cleats that are then screwed in. Installing the rolling hardware is pretty straightforward. Just make sure to follow your specific instructions, especially if there is an inside the shower versus an outside the shower orientation to each of those doors. Hanging the doors can be a little bit confusing, especially if you've never done it before. So I'll walk you through one step at a time. You'll take the inside door first. You'll start off by dipping the bottom end into the shower and then lift it up so that the top goes into the opening of the top track. And then once it's inside, you can push it over so that the wheels rest down on the track. For the second door, you're going to do something similar. You're going to carry it in, and then you need to push the front door in just a little bit so that the second door can also dip the bottom into the shower basin, and then lift it up into that cavity where it can then rest on the shower track again. It's easier if you don't put the handles on your door until after you've already hung them, so that's just one more thing that's not going to be in the way. This bottom plastic piece is the door guide, which holds your doors in place and stops them from swinging around or jumping out of the track. And once you have both your doors hanging properly, you can sort of slide this into the side, and then with our model you actually screw that in from the front. This piece of plastic prevents the wheels from popping up into this space and making the whole door fall off. So I'll shut the door gently, and you'll see that the tracker is right on top of it, and it blocks the wheel from coming out of the track. Go. Some models allow you to purchase additionally a soft close feature. It would have been about $100 extra for us. So we were kind of on the fence about it, and we decided that we would install the shower as is without the soft close, and then if we wanted to, we could always add it afterward. After installing it, we actually think that we like it the way it is. There's already a rubber bumper, so if you shut the door, it's not going to slam too loud, and we think that we're responsible enough, we're not going to break anything the way it is. And the final step is to install caulk. So it's important to install caulk all the way around this top piece. Now this is only held in with the clip right here, which means it's a little bit loose. So if you don't put caulk there to kind of bind it in place, then it might be rattling on you. So after that caulk is installed, go ahead and put caulk all the way around your perimeter. And I highly recommend using a clear caulk so it doesn't stand out. And after that, you're finished. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any additional thoughts, please put that in the comment section below. And as always, we appreciate a like and subscribe. Thanks guys.